Welcome to Unlocking Your Truth, another podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips.
Hello everybody and welcome to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. And I'm looking forward to today's show. We've got a great show lined up for you today. Our theme is going to be out-of-body experiences. Now, if you're just tuning in for the very first time, let me tell you a little bit about Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. So on this show, and it's a talk show actually, and you can phone in and have a conversation with me, and you can phone up and ask me questions. And every week we're here talking about the intuitive, the mystical, the paranormal, the metaphysical. So anything in that realm of experience, all of it is up for discussion on this show. We like to try to have a theme every week, but that doesn't mean that our discussion has to be limited to that theme. And we will be taking your calls throughout this hour, so don't be shy. But if you are shy, you can email us a question. And the email address to send your question to is info@drlesleyphillips.com. And you spell my name DRLESLEYPHILLIPS. So it's Lesley with an EY and Phillips with a double L. So welcome to today's show. I thought we'd talk about out-of-body experience. That's always a fun topic, and a lot of people have had these types of experiences. And so I thought it would be great if some of you could call us and share your out-of-body experiences. And to get us started, I have one of my, actually, it's not really a top 10 list. It's a list of 15 things, 15 clues that can give you an idea if you have ever had an out-of-body experience. And so I'm going to read them out, and we'll have a chat about all of it. So the first one is, do you sometimes feel your consciousness is not inside of your body? And, you know, I think most people have had that experience. And let me tell you something here. You know, I think there's this myth that if having an out-of-body experience means that you are fully conscious in that out-of-body experience, but not necessarily. And I'll give you an example. Have you ever got in your car, and maybe you're going to the store, maybe you're going to work, maybe you're dropping the kids off somewhere, and you're fully conscious at the point that you step into your car and turn the key. And then the next time you recall or know anything is when you have arrived at your destination. And if you try to think about, well, what happened in between when I was driving from A to B, it's all a blur. It's gone. There's no memory of it. The reason is that you were not inside your body while you were driving. And I know that sounds quite bizarre, but you are not your body. You are pure consciousness. But bodies are extremely capable. They can do things on autopilot while you're not home, and driving is one of the things that they can do. And you know, I would say the vast majority of people on this earth right now are mostly not inside their bodies. So we're all kind of wandering around having semi-out-of-body experiences all the time. Anyway, so that's number one. Number two, have you ever woken up after being asleep, felt fully conscious, but been unable to move your body? That's a fairly common experience too, and I'm sure if it's not happened to you, you might have heard a story about that happening. And every night when you go to sleep, you leave your body. Sometimes we call it dreaming. Sometimes we call it astral travel. Whether you remember it or not, it happens every single night. And so this phenomenon of being conscious and yet not being able to move your body. It's sort of that twilight phase as the consciousness is coming back into the body and not quite I can't think of the word, not quite settled in there yet. So number 3, as you were falling asleep, have you ever felt like you were sinking, or you were falling, or you were floating? If you've had those sensations, that's a sign as you're falling asleep that you are beginning to leave your body. You're beginning to separate your astral body from your physical body and float off to have those astral experiences that we were just talking about. And of course, a related experience to that is sometimes we get that sort of sinking feeling, don't we? And then we become conscious and there's like a knee-jerk reaction and all of a sudden, boom, you're sort of back in your body and you've stopped floating. So these are all phenomena that are related to out-of-body experiences. And of course, sometimes we wake up with a jolt after an unusual dream or a nightmare. And it's the same thing. It's you, your astral body and your consciousness slamming back into your body. Now, another sign that you have been astral traveling or having an out-of-body experience is, have you ever, while you were sort of becoming conscious after you've been asleep, had a humming, a buzzing, or clicking sounds while you were waking up? That is a sure sign that you have been astral traveling. So that, I'm not too sure what the explanation of it, but I have experienced it myself, and I think it's got something to do with the frequencies changing as you're coming back to rejoin your body. And then number 6, more food for thought here on out-of-body experiences. Have you ever had a lucid dream where you consciously observed what was happening? And I think a lot of us have had that experience where whether you, as you fall asleep, you step into your dream and you're still fully conscious, which is what these advanced astral travelers are able to do, or whether somehow in the middle of a dream you just wake up and here you are. And you're conscious, maybe that you're dreaming. Or sometimes you have that and it's like, have you ever had this where you wake up, you get up, you go in the bathroom, you have a shower, you brush your teeth, you get dressed, you get ready for work, and it's really lucid and it's really like you're doing it, and then, my goodness me, you're still in bed and you just dreamed that you were doing all of those things. So you were doing them in your astral body when you have that experience. So for those of you just tuning in, this is Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley, and we are talking about out-of-body experiences tonight. If you want to call in and have a chat with me about out-of-body experience, you can call 604-504-7441, extension 4142. And if you have a question about any experiences, any unexplained experiences that you've had that you think might be due to an out-of-body experience, then please give us a call. You know, another common one happens to people when they're in hospital having an operation. And this happens to my father every single time he has an operation. He leaves his body and he hangs out on the ceiling of the operating room and watches what the doctors are doing. And I've heard stories of many other people who have had that experience too. So if that's ever happened to you, that is an out-of-body experience. And here's a really funky one. Has anyone you know ever reported seeing you somewhere where you were not? Because that can be due to your astral body being separated from your physical body. And all the great spiritual masters are able to consciously operate their physical body and their astral body at the same time. And they have so much power and energy that they're able to project enough energy into their astral body that it appears solid and physical. Right? So most of us are not able to do that yet, but it's still possible occasionally for somebody's astral body to be seen elsewhere. So that's probably a bit of a rarer occurrence, but if you've ever heard of that, or if that's ever happened to you, that's a sign of an out-of-body experience. So, and if you dream about flying, then that's definitely an out-of-body experience that you're having. So, and there's plenty more that I could read out. I mean, another common one to know that you're astral traveling is if you do become lucid and you do become conscious and you see that there's a silver cord connecting you to your physical body, well, that's a sure sign that you're in your astral body and you are astral traveling. So there's some clues and some ideas and some food for thought for you about how to know if you astral travel and how to know if you're having an out-of-body experience. And we'll be going to a break in about 5 minutes. And before we do, I'm just going to talk a little bit more about these out-of-body experiences because there are different types of out-of-body experience. So I've mentioned a few times so far in today's show, I've talked about the astral body. So just as you have a physical body, which is made of solid matter and skin and bones, it's a biological unit, flesh, blood, organs, and it's a system that helps sustain life. This vehicle, this physical body vehicle, helps you have experiences in physical three-dimensional reality. You actually have a lighter body, which is called your astral body, which is also a vehicle of consciousness that you use to experience astral plane reality. It's much lighter and a higher vibration than the physical body, and it offers more flexibility and greater creativity, and it also a lot more emotional freedom. So the difference between the physical plane and the astral plane are, on the physical plane, you are limited by time and space. You can't walk through walls, you can't fly unless you get on an aeroplane, you can't walk on water. In astral plane reality, the laws of reality are different. So you can fly, you can be anytime, any place, anywhere. You can be in the past, present, future. You think of being in Hawaii, in an instant you are in Hawaii. You can walk on water if you want to. And the astral plane is very connected to the earth plane, but it's a place where we have a broader scope of experience available to us. And a simple way to view it is this. In physical reality, if you have a decision to make between 3 different jobs, well, you can only really experience what choice it is that you choose, can't you? On the astral plane, you could live out all of those 3 scenarios. You could take all 3 jobs, experience what it's like to work at this company and have this job, and then decide which one was the one you liked the best, and that's the one that you bring down into physical reality to manifest. Now, most of us don't do that consciously, but believe me, we do that all the time. All of us do that all the time. We use the astral plane as a way of broadening our experience. So the astral body is one way that you can have an out-of-body experience. You actually don't need to be in a body at all to have an out-of-body experience. So you are pure consciousness. So your bodies are vehicles for that consciousness, but you are spirit. And So you can experience yourself purely as a spark of consciousness outside of your body. And in fact, that's a technique that I teach all of my students quite early on, is how to do that. Now, the astral body is not the only body. There's also a thing called a light body. And this is a vehicle that allows you to traverse other dimensions beyond the astral plane. So it's an interdimensional vehicle that is able to deliver your consciousness through either from the denser realities up to the higher frequency realities, or vice versa. In fact, you are of such a high vibration in your pure consciousness that high vibration has to be stepped down through these different realities, and first comes down through the light body and then the astral body and then into physical reality. But you can, from this perspective here on planet Earth, you can learn to consciously use your astral body, you can learn to consciously use your light body, and you can learn to travel as pure consciousness as well. Now, I'm about to go to a break. I guess no discussion on out-of-body experience would be complete without talking about near-death experiences. And these, you've probably all heard of this, where somebody gets close to death or dies and then comes back to life. And the experience that they had is they find themselves in a tunnel zooming towards the light. That is an out-of-body experience, obviously. So, listeners, I hope you're all revved up to phone us and chat about out-of-body experiences. So once again, this is Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. And if you don't have a question about out-of-body experiences, but you do have a question about something else, anything on the spiritual side, or even just to do with your life, you can phone and ask the question, and I will give you an intuitive answer to help you. So, we're going to be back in a moment after the break. You know, when I was younger, I used to keep a dream diary. And that was really my way into intuition and spirituality. Because in that dream diary, I noticed that I was having all sorts of different experiences. I had some premonitions about world events. I had some premonitions about things that were going to happen in my own life. And I'll give you an example of a couple of those that happened to me in dreams way back. Even way before 911, there was an airplane that crashed into a tower block in the Netherlands. And 3 days before that happened, I had a dream. And the dream was that there was a tower block on fire, and there was the silhouette of an airplane in this fire, and two of my friends who at the time lived in the Netherlands were standing and watching this. Now, of course, until the event actually happened, I didn't know that it was a premonition, but literally 3 days later, an airplane crashed into a building in the Netherlands, and the exact thing happened. And I had lots of experiences where I met people ahead of time in business that I was doing. I would be going to a business meeting, and it would take place in my sleep time. And then I'd go to the meeting, and the people who I'd never met before looked exactly the same as they did in my dream. So I guess I'm just trying to explain to you that, well, there's a really good example of how the astral plane, there's no time and no space, and so you can experience future time scenarios through your dreams. The other things that happened to me was that I had past life experiences. So I would dream that I was in a different body wearing clothes from a different time in history and with a different life, basically. And so I was tuning in and connecting to my past lives through my dreams. I also met my spirit guides. And it was really what opened me up to being interested and fascinated in everything to do with the metaphysical and spirituality. And I went on from there and trained extensively. And now all of those things that I was doing in my sleep, I can do with my waking consciousness. So for any of you who are interested in this stuff and but you're struggling to make things happen while you're awake, a really great way to get into it can be through your dreams. So I encourage you, keep a dream diary. You'll be surprised at what happens. All right, so the producer has just handed me a slip of paper and looks like somebody's got a question. And this is from Trinity. And Trinity says, my astral travels are constant just about every night. I find myself working in these other realms, healing and solving problems for myself and for other people. And I actually feel that I do my major work in these other planes and I come here to Earth to rest. Am I right? That's an interesting question, Trinity, and I'm going to take a look at that for you. So, and I'll just explain to the listeners, the way that I do my work is that I read from a trance. So I am just going to take a moment to go into trance, to tune into Trinity's energy, and then I'll take a look at her question. So bear with me while I do that. All right. So, let's see. And I'm seeing, yes, you are very busy. You're definitely very busy on the astral plane. And so the first thing I want to say is in a way, you can't really... So the question is that in some sense, it's right, and in some sense, your understanding of it isn't. So yes, you're doing a major amount of work on the astral plane and really getting your sleeves up in all sorts of things, world issues and, more local personal issues, and working them out on the astral plane, participating in mass because we all get together. All the mass events that go on this planet are created by us in our mass consciousness, and a lot of the planning and working through of those mass events takes place on the astral plane. So Trinity, I'm seeing that you're involved in all of that. But it's not true that you come here to Earth to rest, because there is a portion of your consciousness that is meant to be here on Earth experiencing this Earth plane reality. What I'm seeing happening is the issue is with regard to the astral body memory and the amount of information that you're bringing back into your physical body. Because you're not meant to bring all of your astral experiences into your waking consciousness. And the reason is it's a capacity issue. So there's only so much energy that your physical body can contain. And also, a lot of what goes on the astral plane is not relevant at all to what goes on the physical plane. Just doesn't make any sense to bring it through. And so it looks to me like what you're doing is you're bringing sort of like an excess of those experiences into your body, and that's what's making you feel exhausted. And I can give you a little tip that should really help you with this. And this is what it is. So you have an energy center located in your solar plexus, in the middle of your body. This is the energy center that it contains your information on astral travel and it contains your out-of-body memory. So all that stuff that's going on while you're asleep, memories of it can be contained here within this energy center. And if you are, that's also the same energy center that's responsible for energy distribution in your physical body in your waking life. And so you can see here where the exhaustion creeps in, because if you're bringing too much stuff from other levels of reality into that energy center, then you get the sensation of overwhelm. So what you need to do is clean out that energy center, and I will give you a little simple visualization that you can use to do that. So just imagine that you, in your mind's eye, you create a feather duster, a gold feather duster made of light. And what you're going to do is you're going to take that gold feather duster made of light, and you're going to put it through your solar plexus from front to back, just dusting it out like you would with a feather duster, and then pull it out and explode it. You might even want to look at the feather duster after you've pulled it out and see what has stuck to it. But what you're doing is you're cleaning out the excess and extra information that is irrelevant to your waking life. Now, you should find that if you do that every morning when you wake up, you should find that you stop feeling so exhausted, and you should find that your energy distribution in your waking life settles down and balances out. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. And today's show, the theme was about astral travel and out-of-body experiences. And we'll take your questions to do with that, or any other question that you want to ask us. During the break, I've been passed a couple more questions of people calling in. And so I'll read a couple of them out and we'll take a look. So the first one is from Aisha. And Aisha says, I recently started meditating and I started to see bright colors. And it looks like when she's meditating, she's sort of focusing on different areas in her energy field. And she says as she shifts her consciousness, she sees different colors. So she's seeing purples and green and orange and red. And she's, ever since she started doing this, ever since she started meditating, and ever since she started seeing these colors, she's been having bad dreams. And it's making her feel confused, because meditation's supposed to be good for you. And she wants to know what's going on and what it means. So I'll do the same for you, Aisha. I'm just going to go into a light trance, and then I'm going to tune into your energy, and then I am going to tell you what I see. All right, so I'm going to take a look at you when you're meditating, and I'm going to take a look at you when you're having your dreams. And right away, so there's a few things to talk about here. And the first one is when you start meditating, and you don't tell me what type of meditation that you do, but it seems that it is, you're talking about focusing on your body, so yeah, that makes sense. So, because what I was getting is the type of meditation that you were doing is a type of meditation that's more mindful, that pulls you into your body, that wakes you up inside your body. And when people start with that type of meditation, and by the way, that's the type of meditation I teach, what can happen is that you start to become aware of what you've stored in your body. So some people will say, I can't meditate because when I meditate, my back really hurts and I can't sit straight in a chair and it just doesn't work for me. What's actually happening is that person had that backache all along. They just weren't in their body, so they didn't know that they had it. And the meditation is helping them to become conscious of it. And if they stick with the meditation, it will help them release and let go of it. And I'm seeing that that's the same kind of thing that's happening with you, Aisha, is that as you're starting to meditate, you're starting on one level to tune more into your body and to the energy that you've stored in your body. And I'm seeing that some of what you've stored in your body is unwanted. So there's some emotional pain, there's some darker stuff, some shadow side stuff there. And instead of, at your stage of development, it looks like what you've done is you've said, well, rather than sort of deal with that and work that through while I'm awake in my body, I'll take some of that and I will battle it out on the astral plane. And I'm seeing that actually the bad dreams are directly related to you starting meditating, and what you're doing on the astral plane is you are taking, let's say, you had an experience when you were 5 that was really traumatic and upsetting for you, and you stored the trauma in your body. So on the astral plane, you go through and you relive that experience and you work it out in a different way because you're no longer in your 5-year-old body and you're no longer helpless in the situation. And that's just an example that I made up, so I'm not reading you when I'm saying that, but it's an example that illustrates what you're doing. You're working through your shadow side, you're working through your, darker, heavier energies that you've stored in your system because they're being stimulated and brought to the surface by you meditating. The other thing that is happening while you're meditating, and this explains why you're seeing colors, is you're starting to activate your intuitive abilities. So meditation is great for doing that. It's great for releasing and letting go of the heavier, darker, painful stuff, and letting go of your stress and your fear and anxiety. But it's also phenomenal for helping you to consciously activate and open your intuitive abilities. So you're starting to activate your clairvoyance, which is your ability to see a spirit. And those colors that you're seeing when you're tuning in to different parts of your energy field, you're seeing your own energy. You're seeing your own energy. And I don't know whether you're listening to a guided meditation tape that's directing you to different areas, but if you are, you're seeing the energy of that particular area. And so the next stage is to start to put some meaning to those colors that you're seeing. And really the way to do that is, if you can sort of calm down and just breathe into it and not be so shocked about what's happening and just allow yourself to intuit. You can start with a word, right? If you're seeing purple, if that purple was a word, what would that word be? If you're seeing orange, if it was a word or a phrase, what would that word or phrase be? And in that way, you can start to develop your experience a bit further so that you can start to be able to consciously understand the meaning of these colors. And, human beings are a sea of... Have you ever seen those cuttlefish creatures in the sea, and the surface of their skin is multicolored and the colors are changing all the time? That's kind of like what the human aura looks like, the human energy field. We are... The human energy field, the aura, is not a static thing. It is moving all the time. It is changing all the time. As you go through your experiences in your day, then it reflects the experiences that you're going through, the emotions that you're having, the thoughts that you're having, the beliefs that you're bringing to the surface that you're operating from. And this is how a clairvoyant like me is able to read people in their auras. We look at the colors, that's part of what we do, and we interpret the meaning of those colors. So somebody who's running a red vibration, they might be running life force energy. They might be feeling really passionate about life. Or if that's a darker red, they might be angry. So with experience, you learn to interpret it. And the other thing I'll say about this is that it's not like a book or a table that I could give you that said, blue means this, yellow means this, orange means that. You'll pick up books in the bookstore reading the human aura, and that's what it'll tell you. It'll give you a chart, and it will tell you when you see purple, it means that the person is a spiritual person. When you see white, it means that they're a fearful, or whatever. And there really are no rules like that. It's individual to the individual, an individual to the individual. And so, each person is unique, and how they use a different vibration is unique as well. So, Aisha, I hope that I've given you some clarity about what's going on with you. If you need any more information, please email me at info@drlesleyphillips.com, and I'd be happy to speak to you further. I love mentoring people and teaching them about this stuff, so that's an option for you. And I'm probably got time for one more question before the end of the show. And I've got two here to choose from, so let me see, which one shall I pick? I've got a question here from a lady called Anna, and she says that the same numbers keep coming up everywhere she goes, and she keeps having dreams of being in the same place all the time. What is the universe trying to tell me, she asks. So, Anna, I'm going to take a look for you, and let me go into my little trance state and tune into your energy and take a look at you. Well, and the first thing, for all of you listeners out there, this is a common experience these days. You'll look at the clock and it'll say 111 or 222 or 444. Or you'll see number plates with all the same numbers, or it's really, really common. And if you Google it on the internet, you'll find a lot of articles that tell you that it's a message from spirit to all light workers telling them to wake up. And I've had the experience myself as well. And so that's one take on it. But let me look specifically for you and see what is happening. So it looks like, yes, those numbers are kind of a trigger. And in a way, because the whole of your reality and everything you see in it is ultimately created by you, it's a wake-up call from yourself to yourself. So you're reflecting these experiences at your waking consciousness in your physical body to say, hey, there's a lot more to this world than you think. Hey, there's a lot more going on under the surface. Wake up. Start to pay attention. Start to pay attention to the synchronicities of life. Start to pay attention to your intuition. So it's a wake-up call. It's a wake-up call to spiritual awakening, to you evolving your consciousness and waking up more fully and being conscious in your physical body. If I look at the dream experiences, let me see what I can see about that. Well, and when I look at the dream experiences, it's actually connected. And it's sort of like the place that I see you in this dream experience. This is what I'm seeing anyway. It's sort of like, actually, I see like a big clock, like the Gastown clock, except no steam coming out of it, and you standing in front of it. And it's this feeling of it being like a starting point. It's a feeling like of it being the time is now. It's a feeling of it being like, this is the time we've all been waiting for. This is the moment I've been waiting for. This is the time that I came here for. This is my moment. This is our moment. So it really is, all of this is one huge wake-up call for you. And there are many people on the planet who are having similar experiences. And this is a time, for all of you you're familiar with the 2012 information, it's a time when the vibration on the planet is rapidly increasing. The frequency is going up. And many of us are riding that wave and waking up and transforming ourselves like never before. And there are certain ones of us that are at the edge of the wave leading the way. And you're one of those people. So this is why you're receiving these wake-up calls, these signals from your higher self telling you, get going, girl, because this is what you came for. Wake up and enjoy the ride. All right. So I hope that made sense to you, Anna. This has been Unlocking Your Truth with Dr. Lesley. In the meantime, if you want to suggest a topic, you can email me at info@drlesleyphillips.com or even send in your questions ahead of time. I'll say goodbye for now from...
Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to another Unlocking Your Truth podcast by Dr. Lesley Phillips. For more information, go to our website at drlesleyphillips.com. That's drlesleyphillips.com, where you can ask questions or send her an email, and there's many free gifts on there for you as well. Come back again.